This is the video review of Transformers Dark of the Moon Human Alliance Roadbuster. And this figure has so much going for it, but it is a complete disappointment to me. Now in this mode it is a mechanized NASCAR Impala. It rolls very well. In fact, the wheels almost have a rubbery quality to them while still being hard plastic, so they roll pretty well. I like what they did with those tires. I wish more figures had tires like those that have the qualities of rubber, but without the not rubber, but plasticized PVC, but without the faults of it. So it looks pretty good, although it is a mishmash of parts. So one good thing about that is if you transform it slightly wrong, you're not going to be able to tell. And one thing to watch out for is that if you'll notice there are gaps here where the doors come to the body. Those are intentional, and those are so that there is room for these to come out. Although, I will say that the gap on this side is significantly larger than on this side, and I have no idea why. You can squeeze it together and it'll help a little bit, but then it pops right back out. It happens on mine, and it happens on every other copy of this figure I've ever seen. So, and what really sucks about that is that this guy is packed with his doors open, so you can't even see which of the ones in the store may not have that problem, so and that annoys me. I wish that they packed him with both doors closed, because also that would give you a better idea of what the car mode looks like. But overall, it looks pretty neat. I can't say I'm really a fan of these mechanized modes, because I know it's like, on the one hand it's good, because it allows for somewhat more inventive transformations, because they don't have to have everything fit perfectly into a perfect alt mode. But on the other hand, it's bad because, well, it's not robots in disguise, and I wanted a good Impala Human Alliance class figure that wasn't Leadfoot. Because while I like the fan mode I did for Leadfoot, I don't like his robot mode at all. And he's still kind of a hassle. So, how much I like of Leadfoot, it's pride because it came up with that transformation, or because it's genuine, I don't know, but I would prefer the better Human Alliance Impala figure. So, yeah, I mean, it has quite a bit of detail, and it does look nice. I especially like this engine here. It makes it look very big, beefy, and strong. But see, here's the problem with that engine. It's got to be removed for transformation because it turns into a kind of a stupid-looking gun, because it doesn't really integrate with the arm where it pegs in. It just sticks out, but that's got to be removed. I'll set that off to the side. And then to begin the transformation, you'll open the doors, which is a little bit hard to do, especially since these little rocket launchers get in the way a little bit. But you'll open them, and here you can see the interior, and I think this is a pretty nice interior, especially considering that this is a NASCAR car, and NASCARs don't really have interiors. They just have a little place that's designed for the human to be. They don't do anything to make it look nice inside, so I think that actually works pretty well, although, like with Leadfoot, it is odd that he has two seats. So, to continue transforming him, what you'll do is, the back of the seats here are pegged into the thighs for the robot mode, and you need to unpeg them and bring them down. But see, the problem with doing that is that the upper body here and the lower body here are connected via the roof. Now on the roof, there is the windshield, which is clear, and there are no supporting struts inside. So to do this, you gotta bend the clear plastic. And this is much more of a problem than with Jazz, because with Jazz it was just, oh, there's the risk of this, of Human Alliance Jazz, because with Jazz there's the risk that this might become a problem sometime in the future. but there wasn't any real stress ever put on the windshield. Here, to get these out, you gotta bend it out. And getting it out's not too bad, but getting these in, you really have to bend that joint. And that disturbs me. So you'll pull the seats out. You'll pull the seats out, and you'll hinge out the arms like this. And then the seats, they will rotate around like this, up like this, rotate these around. And before you finish pulling them all the way around, there's a green piece on the back side of this tire, and bring this around to will be the front of the arm. Then this will come up and click into place, and you can get the rocket launcher wherever you want. To continue the arm transformation, here's the hand on the inside of the door. And then fold this in, and fold this in. And now if you have this figure or you've seen a review of it before, you know that this should go in a little bit further. But on mine it does not, because I did a modification. And the reason why is because the hinge where this would go in more, that's not pinned in. That is one of those annoying joints where it's not pinned in, it just sort of clips in. And it was very loose, this didn't peg in, so any kind of manipulation of the arm put pressure on this and made it pop out all the time. So what I did is I glued it into place here, so it only folds in that far. But normally, that would make it so you couldn't bend the elbow, because it would bump into here, so I cut a little notch here. But that would cause sort of an ugly gap in the alt mode, except that it's already so kind of ugly and gappy already. So it's nice that you can do that without it detrimentally affecting the figure. But it's not the only place where you have a part that should be pinned in, but is not, and ends up being a problem. So that's a fault with the design of the figure. That's seen in multiple places, and I dislike that. Continue on, we'll do the other door. Fold this down, fold this around, rotate this around, rotate this up, this around, clip it into place, fold this back, fold these, we'll fold the hand out, and then fold these in, and there you have the arms for the most part, although it'll take a while before we can actually plug them into the body. For now, let's look at the lower body. These gray pieces here, they detab, but it's very hard to do. And these are pieces where they should be pinned in, but they're not. And because of how much force you have to put on them, and since they're the only way to really grab the thighs solidly, it's very easy for them to clip off where they're clipped on, and when they do that, they stress. There are stress marks on the, well, you can't really see it, but there's a little metal, a little bar in there where it connects to the leg, and that has stress marks. Not too badly yet, but they will get bad. So rotate the back down, rotate these little rear window parts down, split the legs, and then just start straightening them. Now what's interesting here is that this joint like this, if you look, there's a little overhang here and a little tab here. These clip together like that, and that makes a fairly solid joint. And here you can see where it goes on, and see how it bends out a little bit up here? Well, if you look inside, well, it'd be hard to see, but where these two bars meet inside is stressed, and that annoys me, especially since these are kind of loose too. Well, anyway, to continue on, do the same to the other side. Straighten out the legs. Clip this into position. Oh yeah, and this wheel will bump into those too. So it's not like you can just glue them into place. So there's nothing that can be done about those things. And especially since to get this down, you have to press on it. And since they don't tab into the thigh up here anywhere, what happens is that you press on them and the force to get this clipped in pushes them out, or yeah, I mean, it's just very annoying navigating against those pieces and trying to be careful with them, and there's nothing you can do about it. So I got that tabbed in finally. Then you will rotate the lower legs around like this. Make sure the legs are straight. And then you'll take the spoiler, pull it out, take the back of the car and pull it up, and then rotate the feet up. Feet up, feet up. These glass pieces will end up over the thighs. Rotate these legs around like this and bend them down. And all that effort does get some pretty nice looking legs. I do like how they come together, but I have more problems with them, believe me. The legs are probably my least favorite part about this figure. And now, after all that trouble, you get to work on the upper body, which is quite a bit more trouble. See, the problem with this figure is that it's just never ending getting small, tiny, fiddly pieces to get where they need to go. It's not too complex where they all go, but getting there is a pain. So, well, I don't mind the alt mode. The transformation is pretty annoying, and I have some problems with the robot mode, believe me. So what you'll do next is you'll take this gun part here and pull it, and that will detab this entire crossbow looking thing, and you can just rotate that onto the back. Now we'll free up this upper body area like this. Then what you will do is you will pull these up, rotate these little guns around to show off the headlights, and then you will rotate these all the way down like this, which is odd because it means that his hood area is more flush mid-transformation than in alt mode or robot mode, because now you pull these up and these will sort of hang over, and then you'll pull these away from the body and just angle them back a little bit, and that will allow you to pull this piece down, fold this gray bit up into it, and then it will snap in quite well under the body. And then you will rotate these pieces, these little green pieces, inward. Man, I hope the lighting on this new review setup works well. And then what you'll do is you'll take the engine block, you'll pull it up, and then you'll pull up the head, and then push the engine block back in, and they will sort of notch together. There's a little track on the place where this goes into the head, and they just sort of pressure together. And they stay pretty well already, but what you need to do next is rotate these forward, and you'll see there are little holes in here and a little tab here. We need to rotate this forward and over that tab, which is pretty hard to do because you have to actually bend the plastic around. And if you're trying to be careful, well, you better be lucky, because it's hard to do it without just really forcing it. And then you will take this little, well, there's a little green tab here that'll tab into the back of this bumper piece, and then there's a gray tab here that'll tab into the crotch. And you push those together, and that's actually a very solid connection. I wasn't expecting it to work that well. And all we have left to do is hook the arms into the shoulders. You'll notice there's a little clip here and a little T cross section here. You'll rotate these up and together like that, and that holds okay. I mean, it's easy to unpeg them or to unclip them, but it's strong enough for how strong the joints are in the arms. And this is Human Alliance Roadbuster in robot mode. The car mode looks pretty good, although odd. The transformation's a pain to do. And the robot mode, while it is very big, it's probably the biggest of the Human Alliance figures, and the most detailed. And while it looks quite good, I don't like it because the way it's constructed just doesn't work that well. For example, you have these things I was complaining about, and he has no mid-thigh swivel, he has a mid-chin swivel. His feet don't rotate left or right, they don't go back further, and they're not flat on this side, so you try and angle the feet apart, it ends up that there's no place forward down here to catch it, so he just falls forward. So, because he can't angle the feet back to get support, and he can't really use this pose here, you really don't get a lot of options with posing his legs. And then, with his arms have kind of the same posability as Masterpiece Prime, where it goes in and out first, and then forward and back. So the rotation axis for this rotates too, so you get movement like this. It doesn't work. Some figures can pull that off very well, like Hailstorm can do it pretty well, and MP10 Convoy / Optimus Prime can do it well, but this guy can't, partially because his shoulders are so big, they get in the way of his head. So, and because he has this long cap here, from any angle but what this camera is looking at, it is very hard to see his eyes, especially since his sunglasses are pretty small too in there. It really takes away from the enjoyment of posing him. So, now while his shoulders I don't like, I do like his elbows quite well because they bend 90 degrees, rotate above the elbow, and you also get a joint like this, so he can kinda cross his arms over his chest. So, it's not like his arm posability is imperfect, or is bad, it's just imperfect. But, combine the poor leg articulation with the imperfect arm articulation, and there's just not much going on for this guy. There's not much here to really like, because he can't pose his legs very well without him falling over, and his arms, well, it's like he has a double whammy of odd articulation. If he had good legs, the arms would be fine. If he had good arms, the legs are more important than the arms, but if he had good arms, the legs wouldn't be quite so much of a knock against the figure, because at least there would be a distraction. But no, he's got both things, and the arms he can't really get away with because of how big his shoulders are. And that just really, really gets to me. He does have a outward joint here in the forward and back, but, well, just because of these feet and how useless they are, he doesn't balance very well. Now, it would be one thing if you could use these kind of to help, but if you rotate these all the way down, they still don't increase the heel, so you can't do what you would do with Revenge of the Fallen Basics hubcap. Yeah, and the head can turn. And then you have the gimmick of the sunglasses coming up and out. But, I mean, there's no reason to have these sunglasses out because his head is very ugly without them. I dislike that head. It's very flat, and it has no charm to it. So, this figure, he had everything going for him, and at least in my eyes, he is a total bust. He is a total Roadbuster. I wish I could say better things about this guy. I was really looking forward to him for a long time, but outside of just being a static display piece, there's really nothing really worthwhile here. And those are my thoughts. Thank you for watching.